Hello there, I'm Robert McKay, the sole owner and proprietor, host, director, producer, blah 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 of Whiskey for Beginners, a thoroughly amateur production. I'm not given to what they call clickbait. I don't even much care for that term. There's a lot of terms that float around today, fly around even, that are so phony, they're so pretentious, they're so, look at me, look at me, don't look at me. They're like that. And I don't like that. Now, I may not be the most humble person on earth, although I am extraordinarily proud of my vast humility. But I'm not here to self-consciously, pretentiously shove in your face my acquaintance with the latest trend in anything, especially since my acquaintance with the latest trend in anything is about that much. But the idea of this video kind of goes down that clickbait route. It's a question. What am I going to think of this whiskey? This whiskey being Balcones Baby Blue. Yes, straight corn whiskey. It's pot distilled at Balcones Distilling in Waco, Texas. It's 92 proof. They use a 100% roasted Texas blue corn mash bill, which makes me wonder why they're not still making bourbon. They're still making corn whiskey. They could take this exact same mash bill, every run, divide it down the middle. Half of it goes into either used charred or new uncharred barrels to become corn whiskey. The other half goes into new charred barrels to become bourbon. This mash bill would allow it because bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. Corn whiskey has to be at least 80% corn. 100% qualifies for both. Look how dark it is. The thing is that not only has Balcones quit making bourbon, a lot of things seem to have gone awry since they sold out to Diageo. I'm trying to remember, I think that was the latter part of 2024. My mind wants to say latter part of 2025, but I think it was 24. Whenever it was, their distribution, at least here in Albuquerque, went to pot. They quit making bourbon altogether. And this is going to be the second glass from this bottle. The first glass I had did not taste right. I used to love this stuff. What will I think on this second glass? Will I like it or not? I'll pour the usual size glass because I might like it. Now, I showed you in the bottle how dark it is, but in the glass it is not as dark as their corn whiskey used to be. It's not as dark as the Baby Blue used to be. That tells me that something has changed. Now, it's always been 92 proof, so they've always been tempering it down with water, diluting the flavor, diluting the color, as well as diluting the alcohol. But I don't recollect ever seeing Baby Blue this light colored. That's not a ton darker than any other corn whiskey. And that makes me wonder, am I going to like this? This, by the way, was $39.99 at Kelly Liquors. I got it on the 14th of July. So this is the 21st, I think, so a week ago. And the nose is a standard baby blue corn whiskey nose. It's very clearly Balcones whiskey. I've not smelt anything of theirs that wasn't distinctly Balcones on the nose. There is something just a bit sharp in there, but nothing drastically so. Nothing that would make me go, wait, that ain't right. And their corn whiskey does have that little bit of sharpness anyway, so as I say, it's nothing aberrant. There's sweetness. And from 100% corn, you expect some sweet. So on the nose, there's nothing to complain about. It's Balcones baby blue corn whiskey. Now, Balcones Distilling was the first legal distillery in Texas since Prohibition. And this strip down on the bottom here, it says the original Texas whiskey. Now, Garrison Brothers in High, Texas was the first legal bourbon distillery in Texas since Prohibition. But Balcones got into the stores, got on the shelf a year before Garrison Brothers. Balcones did it with what everybody wants to call a single malt, like we're Europeans, with a 100% barley whiskey, whereas Garrison Brothers is distinctly a bourbon distillery. So they both can claim to be the first, but one is overall, one is specifically bourbon, and a year later. Jared Hempstead, who, as far as I know, his signature is there on the back of the bottle. I'm not going to bother to show you. He and a couple of three others, I think, who helped begin the distillery there in Waco, started out as brewers and then moved into distilling, and they kind of brought their brewers' ideas with them, and they have turned out some very fine whiskey. The best whiskey of any kind that I've ever had in my life is Balcones Texas Pot Still Bourbon, which had a 4-grain mash bill. It had Texas. By the time they quit making it, they were using all Texas ingredients. They started out getting them from elsewhere, and were able then to find sources in Texas. Use the Texas blue corn, wheat, rye, and barley. 4, not 5, 4. I sometimes get silly, as you might know if you've been watching any. Best whiskey of any kind I've ever had in my life, and a $30 bottle. But they quit making it. Their Brimstone is a corn whiskey that they smoke, and just too much smoke for me. I've had 2 different of their barley whiskeys, the Lineage, which is excellent, the Mirador, which starts off okay, but it gets cloying. I think they've changed the way they do their rye and the name of it. What I had was the 100% Texas rye, and it was like eating a mouth of grass clippings or drinking grass juice. So I couldn't stand that. I've had 1 bottle of their True Blue barrel strength corn whiskey. It was dark. It was coffee dark and absolutely fabulous. But as I say, since they sold out to Diageo, it seems like that whole operation has fell apart. They quit making the bourbon. The last 2 bottles of this that I had previously weren't right, and I went several months without buying another. And now I've been talking. I want to now see, will I like it or dislike it? Some kind of bug flying around, gnat or what have you. This is a straight corn whiskey, aged at least 24 months in oak, so it is 2 years old, the bare minimum to be a straight whiskey. It was better before they could call it a straight whiskey. It's chemical on the palate. I've got this lingering chemicalness on my tongue. That's what the finish is. I'm getting the same messed up whiskey that I did on the first glass. Now, it's not necessarily bad whiskey, but it is not as good as it should be. It's got that chemical taint. It doesn't have the depth and density of flavor that it used to. Balcones Distilling once was my favorite distillery. And now it has plummeted down to way below first place. I'm not sure what I would call my favorite distillery right now. Jim Beam turns out some fantastic stuff. I have gotten hooked on Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. The 5 Points Distillery in Forney, Texas, turns out absolutely magnificent wheat whiskey. They call it Lone Elm. Iron Republic has a great bourbon called the Harbinger. And there are other distilleries which do good stuff. And I like what they're turning out better than I like what Balcones is now turning out. I didn't know going in whether I would like this or not. I can't say I dislike it, but I don't like it enough to finish this glass. I don't like it enough to finish this bottle. I don't like it enough to buy anything else from Balcones again. And I'm sorry to say that. But Diageo ruined them. Absolutely. I guess I will take one more sip to finish the video. May you never have this kind of experience yourself.